Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I want to show you an opening trap that you can play as black against the Queen's Gambit. The trap is known as the Lasker Trap, named after Emanuel Lasker, a German chess player and world champion for 27 years, from 1894 to 1921. This is still up to date, the longest reign of any official recognized world chess champion in history. So yeah, he was quite a good player and his trap still works today. So you can see the critical position already on the board. It's black to move and win right on the spot, but take your time. Before we just jump right into the tactic, I of course want to show you how to reach the position. So without further ado, it's time to checkmate. So the game that we are following is a game between Benedikt Klocker and Edmund Konrad and took place in 2012. I could have chosen plenty of other games as well, but I decided to take this game because white had a pretty high rating, and yeah, I just wanted to show you that even strong players can fall for the trap. So trap started with the moves d4, d5, c4. This is the starting position of the Queen's Gambit. Here black has some options, for example c6, going into the Slav defense, e6, going for the Queen's Gambit declined, or even capturing the pawn on c4, going into the Queen's Gambit accepted. In the game, black played the move e5. This is also known as the Albin Countergambit. White accepted the gambit and took the pawn on e5, and black pushed on to d4, gaining some space in the center and restricting the knight on b1 because the knight can no longer come to his natural square on c3. And here the main move for white would have been knight to f3, attacking the pawn on d4 a second time. And this is a pretty well-known position for the Albin Countergambit that I won't cover into this video because it has nothing to do with the trap. If you're interested in the Albin Countergambit, I would advise you to check out the theory about this variation. So in the game, white played the move e3, and this is already a slightly mistake. It doesn't lose the game right at the spot, but black has a small advantage already in the position. And the reason behind the move e3 is that white hopes that we would just grab the pawn and then he could exchange the queens, and after bishop takes e3, he's just simply better. He will develop his knight to c3, the other one to f3, bringing the bishop into the game, castling queenside. And it's not clear what black should do in this position. He's down a pawn, his king can no longer castle. I don't see any way of counterplay, so this would be a pretty lost position for black already. But instead of taking the pawn on e3, Konrad played a better move. He played the move bishop to b4 check, attacking the king on e1. And yeah, here white plays the logical move, bishop to d2. And now comes a nice move that sets a trap. He takes e3. Ignoring the fact that our bishop on b4 is loose, he just simply grabbed the pawn. And the best move for white in this position would just to grab the pawn with the f-pawn. But then black has a nice variation of queen to h4 check. And after g3, queen e4, attacking the rook on h1, the pawn on e5, and even the pawn on e3 at the same time. Black gets some compensation, for example, knight to f3. And here we just simply can grab the pawn on e3 because the bishop on d2 is pinned by our own bishop. So let's say bishop to d2, and here we will exchange some pieces with bishop to d2, queen to d2, queen to d2, and knight to d2. And after knight to e7, we can stop our analyze here with a conclusion of the position. I would say that black is slightly better, not much better, but slightly better. And the reason for this is, of course, right now he still has to develop some pieces, but he won't face any problems to do so. His next moves will be castling, probably playing c5 to gain a little bit grip on the center, placing his knight on c6, placing the other knight on g6, bringing the bishop into the game, and then he will start attacking the pawn on e4. As you can see, the knights are targeting the pawn. He will bring the rooks into the center. So it's pretty easy for black to find a plan. His plan is simply to play against white's isolated pawn on e4, on e5, while it's not clear what white can do in this position. I mean, it's not a huge advantage, but it's a slight advantage, and if I would be black, I would gratefully take this position. But anyway, instead of f takes e3, white decided to accept sacrifice and took the bishop. And believe it or not, but this position is already won for black. And I would advise you to pause the video and try to figure out what black's best move is in this position. I'll give you 3 seconds to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. If not, I just want to give you a little hint. You don't always have to promote your pawn into a queen. You could also choose, for example, a rook, a bishop, or a knight. So with this hint in mind, I give you 3 seconds again to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. The best move for black is e takes f2 check. The king cannot take the pawn, because if he would, then he would lose his queen on d1, and this position is hopeless for white. So the only move white has is to move his king to e2. And here, please don't make the mistake. Don't take the knight and promote to a queen, because this is just simply equal. Now white could just simply grab your queen, you have to grab it back, and now he grabs your queen with a rook, and believe it or not, but this position, even if it's similar to the position I just showed you earlier, it's just equal. I mean, even if it would be slightly better for black, then it's still not what you wanted, right? Because you was up already 9 points compared to computer. So a better move in this position would be to, yes, you will take the knight on g1, but you will promote your knight with check. And now it's pretty tough for white, because he cannot take your knight, because then you have the nice move, bishop to g4 check, and after the king moved away, you simply win the queen, and it's game over again for white. So the only move in this position is king to e1. And now, here comes another queen check on h4. g3 doesn't help because of king e4 check, attacking the king and the rook at the same time. So for example, king f2, then you just simply grab the rook and you have a rook, and this should be game over as well. So the best move for white in this position is to move his king to d2 with the idea of trying to run to the queen's side and hope that he will find some shelter on this side. But sorry dude, we don't allow this. No, 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 no. We just simply play knight to c6, attacking the bishop, and we could easily stop at this point because, well, the black position just plays itself. Right at the moment we are the piece, but okay, you could argue that this one could be taken off at any time, but we simply will just develop our bishop, then castle queenside, bringing the rook to the d file, and yeah, all our pieces are flying into attack, and white's king is horribly weak, and there's no way he could defend this position. Just in case you still don't believe me, I just want to show you 2 more lines. In the game, for example, white played bishop c3 because the bishop was attacked, so he had to move. And black played the bishop to f5. White played king to c1. And black went in with his queen to f2. And after a move, knight to d2. He finally castled queenside, bringing his rook to the d file and pinning the knight. So it's already so tough for white to find good moves. Try to find a good move, you won't be able to. White in this position played c5, and after knight d4, he took the knight, he took back with the rook, and now black has a simple threat, just simply developing the pieces and bringing the second rook also to the d file, finishing the game. And here you can see how this works in practice. c6, knight e7, c takes b7, and here black just simply stepped aside with his king, because white's own pawn gives us pretty good shelter, because yeah, we're just simply safe. Our king is just simply safe behind white's pawn. And after bishop to a6, the simple move rook to d8 won the game, because there's nothing white can do on d file. He will lose his knight, his queen, everything. The computer already suggests that it's mate in 5, so game over. Just to show you one more line at this position. If I have such positions, I always think, what about a move like queen to e1? And after queen e1, taking our knight, we simply could just play the check on d4. Let's say king to c1, and then we take the bishop, queen will take the bishop, and we bring in our queen again, and taking the bishop on c1. So let's say bishop to e3. Then we simply just grab the pawn, and after queen a4, for example, bishop d7, and this is game over again. Well, you can just simply try to play with this position yourself. I made a leadership study for the game, so I will put down the link into the description, so just check it out. You can just simply try to play this position for yourself a little bit, and then you will clearly understand that there's no way for white to defend this position. So I hope you liked today's video. I hope you learned something. If you did, please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. So see you next time when it's again time to checkmate.